We're so corporate.
I know, we are corporate now.
We're talking about Kaizen and everything.
All right, so what should the intro for this be?
Okay, you're going to say something like, welcome to the first episode of, should we call this a catchy thing? Like Raythe Reign Insider or something real cheesy. Come on, we have to be cheesy.
All right.
Cheese it up, cheese it up.
Hey guys, it's Kat and Raythe here for the first initial Raythe Reign Insider. And yes, we know that's lame, but we're using it anyway because we have to call it something, right? So in this, Kat asks me questions that come from you or that we just think up, or topics that sound cool that we think you'll enjoy. And we do these every once in a while. And we're so looking forward to your comments and questions and everything going forward. So I'm going to turn it over to Kat as she goes to the questions we already have from everybody.
Today's topic is something we get all the time, and that is, you should turn whatever story we happen to be on, like Everdark or Dragon's Reign or whatever, into an anime, or there should be a TV series, or how can we get a movie made of this? So we just want to talk about this a little bit because how long have people been saying this? Like years?
Probably from the beginning, but definitely from when Dragon's Reign started posting on YouTube. We got everyone saying, this should be on Netflix.
Yeah, it was Dragon's Reign, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I never say never to anything, as you know, because I would have thought just a few years ago that doing Everdark as a full live cast production would have been completely beyond us. But in fact, as we all know, now we have something like 8 actors and growing.
Yeah, there's 8.
Oh my God. Which is crazy. And I mean, it's a full on beautiful, acting extravaganza. So we definitely do want to do something like an anime. An anime would be awesome. I mean, we think about Vox Machina as pretty much a goal. I mean, if you have anime goals, that would be it, because that's the closest to what we could do in terms of going from an independent to having something like that made and picked up by someone like Amazon.
You should describe what Vox Machina is for the people who don't know.
Okay. Well, first of all, I highly recommend it. If you have Amazon Prime, you can watch it for free. It is so far a 2-season series. It's animated, and it's based on the Critical Role, I think season 1. And Critical Role, what that is, Matt Mercer and a bunch of his voice acting friends got together and decided to record themselves, put it up on YouTube during a D&D session, and it has become a smash sensation. And they wanted to basically do a anime of their first season. And so they went to Kickstarter and they raised over $11 million. But here's the kicker. That $11 million, while it was amazing, wouldn't have covered the cost of what they eventually did. $11 million would not have been enough money for, I believe it's 8 to 10 episodes, approximately 30 minutes each. They were picked up by Amazon, who put in a ton more money in order to make this anime come true. Now, to give you an idea of size and scope in terms of just to get that Kickstarter done, Critical Role has millions of views on their videos. Like, getting hundreds of thousands on each one is not unheard of. And sometimes it could be, I think I've seen as high as like 18 million on some of their videos. I mean, it's like crazy town.
These are just the stats that we know too, because there's iTunes and Spotify and all of those other channels. So as we know from experience, those are kind of like ghost stats. We have no idea how many people are listening to Everdark on iTunes, for example.
Yeah, we have absolutely no idea. We can't even really tell from Spotify how many people are listening. We have sort of a roundabout number that they give us, but we have no idea. But Critical Role is, the mass is like, they make us look like a candle flame compared to the sun.
Oh yeah, totally. They have almost 2 million YouTube subscribers. Just, Just saying. And we have almost 12,000 YouTube subscribers.
Yeah, it's a little bit of difference. So what I'm trying to say is, yes, we absolutely would like to do an anime, but if $11 million cannot do it, how can, and that requires an audience of millions and hundreds of thousands listening to every episode as they come out, how can us at 12,000 subscribers and a few hundred views up to a little over 1,000 or 2,000 views an episode compare or compete? So we're not in the arena yet that would allow us
definitely not
to raise the kind of money necessary to create an anime. But that gives you an idea of what it would take for us to get there. If you're going to do something of that magnitude, you need an audience of that magnitude. Because also, in order to get Amazon interested in putting the money in that was needed to make this thing really shine, you need to show that you have an audience that you're bringing to Amazon. And right now, we just simply don't have an audience that either Netflix or Amazon or Apple or anybody would believe that they should invest in to get enough back.
Also, like on Netflix, even Dragon Prince was on the rocks. And Dragon Prince is a really high quality animated series that is a Netflix original. But after the third season, I think, it was kind of uncertain whether that would get made. So the quality of the work, I'm going to be real mercenary here, it doesn't matter to your parent company. And like, let's be clear, it would be a parent company. Like it would be Netflix or Amazon or other entity helping us to develop this, because this is just not in our wheelhouse anyway.
Through our work with her, Grace Reads, those guys do actually a lot of voiceover for animes and stuff, and they have relationships with these people. And they were like, yeah, we probably could get you a deal, but a deal is still
they would have
million.
To gain.
Yeah.
Like these parent companies would have to gain. Like these studios would be like, how can we at least make our money back? And we're in the small dog arena still.
We are in the very small dog arena, but that does not mean that we don't dream big.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
We really do, as you guys know. And that's why I say never, because
absolutely.
I mean, bringing in her Grace Reads has been a game changer for us and for you guys in terms of what you're experiencing. But we need to be bigger. And as a company that produces gay romances, we have a lot of thumbs on the scale against us. It is hard to advertise. YouTube, as people know, and Spotify and everything always are looking at our stuff with a jaundiced eye and a reason to ban us. So we are always constantly fighting in order to get our stuff seen. Also, as you guys may notice, there is not a lot of stuff like Everdark out there. So how, for example, the YouTube algorithm or even the Spotify algorithm works, it says, let's say if you like true crime, if you like this one true crime podcast or YouTuber, there are plenty of other podcasts and YouTubers that are focused on true crime. But how many fully acted gay action, adventure, vampire romances are there out there on YouTube or Spotify? There are none.
Actually, I think that there aren't very many fully acted audio stories the way we're doing it, full stop, like gay or true crime or whatever. Like there are not a lot out there.
No, we can't even sort of get in. The closest we found are like, for example, the Black Tapes, but that again is not romance. It's a sort of a horror story. And there's a bunch of other ones like that where it's sort of found footage type thing. But you guys know that's not at all what we're doing. Going back to this idea, like, how do you even get recommended Everdark? Well, the truth is, unless you see an ad or hear about it in that way, it's unlikely that YouTube is really going to show you our stuff because there is no other channel quite like ours. So we are having to basically do it the old-fashioned way and paying YouTube and saying, you know what, I think people who like X may like us. But it's not like we are the true crime podcaster that there's just a million people out there that you can say, if you like Marcy, you're like Jay, you'll like George. So really and truly, we're having to find our audience, like needles in haystacks the size of a whole planet.
It's always our curse too. It's like, we don't do copycat content because we really can't. It's not in our nature to do copycat content, but like that makes it really hard to get quote unquote organic discovery.
Yes. So that means that we have to pay for it, which means that's
fine. I mean,
which is fine.
We can do that. This is something that is in our skill set, and a lot of people don't have this skill.
But you have to understand that when something goes viral, that is something we can't do.
No.
That's not something that will ever
not.
happen
It's
to
never
our
going-
channel.
Yeah.
So we are completely dependent upon Kat's prowess at honestly direct marketing. And the thing is that the more money we have to spend on marketing is the less money we get to spend on
Other
content
things,
and
yeah.
other things. It is really important to like, comment, subscribe, sign up, pick something up if you can, because that makes a huge difference to us, and it's what's allowed Everdark to exist.
You know what I think is the most likely in our multimedia, the next step in our multimedia empire is actually an indie game, because those cost a lot less than animation or live action or anything like that.
And we've already dipped our toe into that, actually.
Yeah. Well, the sorting quiz, like, that is totally doable. VNs are kind of, they were having a moment maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and they're not anymore as far as I know. So it's not like, that's not that attractive of a next property, just because we don't know how visual novels are going to keep their value on the market, or are they not? But in terms of what to do next, like if we're looking to level up from our awesome fully acted podcast, I would say that looks like the most realistic thing that we can do that's of quality.
Yeah.
Like, we've joked around about doing a Raythe Reign B movie, but that would also be too expensive for us, and I don't know, it wouldn't be very good.
Even like a B. Oh, I think it would be good. Don't say it won't be good, because when we do it, they're going to remember this when you said it wouldn't be.
Yeah.
But the truth is, to do something like that, you need a few $1 million, guys.
Yeah.
I don't have a few $1 million. Do you have a few $1 million? And it wouldn't be good. I mean, it would be.
I'm just thinking in terms of the VFX. Like, can you imagine? We would
What
have
VFX?
to. Right, exactly. It would
That
be
would
like
be it.
those kaiju movies.
Yes.
With the rubber monsters.
Rubber monsters and shaky cam, or it would honestly be because I had thought of a story that would be very, very simple, that would involve like 2 locations and basically a vampire trying to convince someone to let them into a house. It would have to be the money would go into, quite frankly, the actors, because trying to find good actors who would do this is another thing, because there still is that stigma. So, that's the thing. So I think when you ask this stuff, it's amazing. And I think that you can actually take concrete steps yourself to help make that happen by sharing, liking, subscribing, commenting, purchasing, spreading the word, because we don't have any real organic reach other than you. If you love this thing and you tell a friend or 10 friends or whoever friends online, it makes a difference for us. Every subscriber matters, whether it be for Raythe Reign or YouTube or Spotify.
Yeah, it really does.
So that is what I would definitely say about whether we'll do an anime or, a live action series or a game at some point, because that is, the next steps, I think, that we do want to do. But we actually have some things up our sleeve coming up on the site, which we're not going to discuss now, but are going to be exciting changes that will add to people's pleasure, keeping all that you already get plus. Let's just put it that way.
Hey, magic wand time. Okay, which of your stories would you like to see produced as a TV series or an anime series? Which one would you just love to see?
I really think Everdark or Dragon's Reign would be the two of them.
Okay.
I think those are very visual and stunning, and those would be amazing to see, to be perfectly honest with you.
Definitely. What about like a feature film?
A feature film? That would be harder, because really you run into the same situation that you always do, which is that, quite frankly, my stories are too long-winded. Unless it's going to be like a trilogy.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be a trilogy.
Let's go with the trilogy.
I still think, I really do think that Everdark would be the one that I would do. Because of the very fact that it just lends itself to that sort of medium. Plus, it would be doable on terms of that budget rather than creating, for example, dragons. Because as we all know, House of Dragons, the reason why that's so expensive is because of the dragons.
The CG.
The CG. Yeah, the CGI for that. And everyone's looking, do the dragons look real? So that's why I think Everdark is a better option, because it's all about the acting, and it's, you know, at night.
And can I just say, the dragons never look real. They try. They try
very hard.
But like, did you happen to see the Lion King remake? It was a few years ago.
Yes, and then there was no emotions on the faces, because, you know, those animals wouldn't make those emotions.
No, they looked real. They
looked
were
real,
amazing, but it was so uncanny.
Yeah, the uncanny. It wasn't so much uncanny valley as the fact that it just couldn't. You lost what was magical about that.
Yeah.
You know, because they couldn't do the emotions on the faces, because animals don't have those types of. I know what you mean.
Like, I always think about that when I see these CG renderings of animals. I'm like, oh, you can make.
Although Thumberchod in Dungeons and Dragons was the most awesome fat red dragon I've ever seen.
I haven't seen that yet because I've been
see it.
Freaking allergies. I don't want to be sitting in the movie theater blowing my nose every 15 minutes.
So everyone's
so
like, COVID.
So rude.
Oh God. Oh.
Soon. Yeah.
It's very worthy of seeing if people haven't seen it.
Well, that's all the questions that I've had.
All right.
About this topic. We will, I guess, tune in next
time.
I don't know how often we're going to do these. Maybe like once or twice a month.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you have some hot burning questions, send them into us so that we can do them.
Whenever we feel like it.
And I think that, you know, to the extent that it gives you a peek behind the curtain and gets an honest answer to your questions about stuff you love. Because I always feel like so many people, when they talk business, are very, how shall I say, vague. And I love the fact when YouTubers will sit down with you, or people who are independent, and will tell you what it's taken. You know, and all this kind of stuff, what it costs, what it takes, what you dream of, you know, all this kind of stuff. Because I think that that's something you'll never get from a corporation. Mm-hmm. And also, since you as an audience member are the one that's making this happen directly, it gives you a chance to feel even more involved than you already are. Understand where your dollar goes.
Well, especially with stuff like Critical Role, it's just because of the size of the audience they were able to do that.
Yeah. So really what we need your guys' help in, as always, is we just need to grow. And I think if we grow big enough, we can do anything. Creating Everdark was because we grew big enough. And we're growing even more because of Everdark and because of all of you. All right. So remember to leave your comments and questions for us under this video or under this audio podcast, if it's on the if you're on Spotify or iTunes or whatever. But we definitely want to hear from you. You can also email kat@marketing@raythereign.com. We will have links down below so that you can check out that stuff and how you can get in contact with us, because we love you guys, want to hear from you, and we can't wait to talk to you on the next Raythe Reign Insider.